Testing, testing. It's about my normal speaking voice for the evening. Probably keep it around here for most of the night. Should probably be the softest range of it in case it gets very soft. And then, oh, nice and loud, nice and loud. As Justin can have the seat, that's fine. I've got the table. I've been sitting down all day, so. Yes, welcome to the Illingdon Sports Centre as we kick off round 16, which significantly marks the exact halfway point of the season. And with 15 rounds between now and the end, the title picture, the finals race and the relegation battle all become a little bit clearer. And for these two teams, which had a difficult first half of 2024, 3 points tonight could be absolutely vital. Sydney FC, they look to break their tough run of form against a Spirit side who, whilst they've struggled away from home this season, will be slight favourites this evening. It's Sydney FC hosting the Northwest Sydney Spirit live on the Football New South Wales YouTube channel. Will Constantinides here with you for this one, along for the ride. And whilst I said round 16 marks a halfway point, it also signifies that we're heading into the wintry part of the season. And thankfully tonight it's not too cold here. Perfect conditions for football, clear skies, and a great game surely awaits us. And without any further delay, let's get straight into the team news. Starting first with the host Sydney FC. They sit in 15th coming into tonight's match, which is a relegation playoff spot, and it's been a difficult season so far for a very young side that has seen most of its best players join the A-League side on scholarship deals. But that being said, there is more than enough talent in there that they can feel optimistic about avoiding the danger of the drop. A 3-1 loss to Olympic last time out sees Jimmy Van Wieren make 3 changes to that side. Mitch Glasson, Callahan and Matt Scarcella all coming into the side, and here's the rest of their starting 11. It goes like this. Number 3 is Tyler Williams. Number 4, Joe Kalisic. 5, Zach DeJesus. Number 8, Lockie Middleton. Number 10, the man to watch, Tiago Quintal. Number 22, Will Kennedy, the captain. Number 24, Wataru Kamijo. Number 40, the goalkeeper, Alexander Zavadinos. And the new inclusions, 3 of them. Number 9, Bailey Callahan. Number 18, Matthew Scarcella. And number 19, the man with 4 goals this season, Mitch Glasson. As the Spirit, well, they've found it hard on their travels in the first half of the season. Just 1 point from their 7 league games away from Christie Park. But they'll back themselves against their opponents tonight, hoping they can break that drought. They currently sit in 12th, and whilst a win tonight wouldn't see them gain any ladder places, it would certainly help put a bit of a buffer between themselves and the relegation places, including their opponents, Sydney FC, who occupy that playoff spot. A 2-0 loss at home to Apia in their last match sees just the one change for David Perkovic. That is Richie Darko dropping to the bench in place of Jesse Michelle. As Spirit get us underway, we'll wait for a moment to give you their lineup as Sydney try and hook clear, but they might have played themselves into a bit of trouble here as Spirit appeal for the foul. It doesn't go their way. Instead, they keep it moving. There's a passive offside there from Jesse Michelle occupying that number 9 spot, and so we'll take this brief moment in a very frantic start to give you Spirit's starting 11. In goal, number 1, Chris Marquez. Number 3, Kyle Shaw. 4 is Jared McKinley. We stay with Sydney FC there on an attack of their own. Shot is blocked quite comfortably by, looks like that's Simon Nicholas out there on the far side. He's in the squad. Number 13. Number 8 is the captain, Grant Cornwall. Number 10, Michael Conestabo. Number 11, Ollie Wigan. Number 16 at the back is Ante Buckmars. Number 17, Jacob Chidiak. Number 20, Jared Lum. And the new inclusion, number 19, Jesse Michelle. So a chance for Sydney here from the corner. Both sides have struggled with goals this season. Marquez, that's a bit too easy for him. Their struggles in front of goal are well documented. Both these sides sit in the bottom 3 in terms of goals scored this season. Form guide would suggest a low-scoring affair, but you never know in the NPL what kind of games you get on these sort of nights. And as mentioned, Sydney have made changes to their team in hope of turning the tides. As mentioned, it's been quite difficult. A 6-game losing streak. Playing here at Illingdon, they'll back themselves against, as mentioned, a team that has struggled away as get going on the far side. Foul going the other way. Sydney were in possession. Of course, this is the first of the games coming your way this weekend. A whole slate of action. 3 games on Saturday, 3 games on Sunday. And then more midweek games coming up as well, as this doesn't look good for Spirit. We'll try and figure out who's gone down on that far side. It looked like it might have been a knee collision there. Sydney were in possession and just went down on that far side. The Spirit physio's gone on. Still unsure who it is down there. Always difficult when it's on the opposing side of the pitch, but try and get that information to you quickly. This could be an early change for David Perkovic. He has options on his bench. Jacob Sullivan, Richie Darko, Louise Lobo, Noah Peacock, Kai Williams, and Joel Wade's the backup keeper. And after a very quick start, both teams will reset, and I think the physio's just motioned for a sub here, so this is a less than ideal start for Spirit in search of their first away win of the season. Still not that much movement on the bench. I think one of the subs might just be coming over now. Doesn't look like a sub is imminent, but far side's just going down. It will be Spirit ball. They did win the foul. It seems like it was a while ago that happened. It's been quite a lengthy stoppage in the opening couple of minutes here at the Illington Sports Centre. So might be a couple of phases of play before David Perkovic can get his substitutes in. I'm not sure he'd even thought about telling them to warm up. We've barely had 3 minutes of play as Marquez immediately looks long and plenty of contact in midfield. It goes over the head of Connor Starbo. Dispossessed, and now Sydney can turn. They have pace going forward. Here is... Immediately lost it. Kennedy. The captain's got that armband around his left shoulder, still keeping an eye on the Spirit bench. They're down to 10. Keep that in mind for the next couple of minutes. Kennedy's got quite the throw at him as Cornwell clears for distance, and Ollie Wigan there, very crafty in midfield. One is side a foul, and if you're the Spirit, you're certainly not in a hurry. Just try and take some time off the clock. Give your subs a chance to warm up, as I think Luis Lobo's also getting warm on the bench, so he might be the man getting an early introduction into the game. He'll basically have a full 90 under his belt. And the Spirit moving around the back. Here's Cornwell. Getting down the line. Strong challenge. Connor Starbo able to ride it. Now, Quintal goes around the corner. That's a lovely pass forward. Zach De Jesus. Can't make it stick, but stays with Sydney for the time being. They're doing well, the young side, and you'd expect them to be with this man advantage. And Lobo is being prepared on the bench, so just one more phase of play for Spirit to get through. And wayward pass there by Scarcella. I think David Perkovic is going to shuffle the pack a little bit. So it looks like Jacob Chidiak's heading into a more deeper role with Luis Lobo now on the wing. There's a flick header. Michelle unable to bring it down. They'll try again with Spirit. Chidiak heads it high. Up goes Michelle, but too strong was Kalisic. Again, Spirit will take a bit of controlled possession. Lobo. And good defensive structure here by Sydney. The press might be coming. They've forced Spirit all the way back to Marquez, but they do find their way out. And now Spirit have numbers down the other side. Conestabo giving chase, puts the shoulder on, and Conestabo's done really well to win this ball. Looks for the cross, and Michelle was all alone in the box. And that's a great enterprising run by Michael Conestabo. Great to see him back out there. Went down with an ACL midway through last season, did Michael Conestabo. It's only his second start in the league this season. He's showing plenty of spring in his step. Started for the first time last week against Apia. Back in the side again tonight. McKinley sends it forward and just ping-pongs back to the Sydney FC backline. Here's Ante Bakmaz for doing a bit of subtraction here. And that's a big loss for Spirit at the back. Ante Bakmaz, he carries a bit of goal threat as well. And for a side that has found it difficult to score, not having that option from a set piece, he has 3 goals to his name this season, does Ante Bakmaz. That's in all competitions, including 2 against the Mariners, so another A-League Academy side. Spirit again, try to work it down this right side. Lobo wins the throw for the time being. So far this game has gone as the form guide would suggest, a very cagey affair, no major chances to report. Spirit trying to work it through midfield. They couldn't find Wigan. Sydney can turn the other way. Numbers racing forward. Stays with Sydney for the time being. Here's Quintal. Touch was just a little bit loose. But again, the way Sydney are able to get forward so quickly in attack. And against the Spirit defence, it's already had to reshuffle once tonight. There will be opportunities for them to get at them, as here is Kalisic. Camijo almost had his pocket picked. Finds safety in Kalisic again. To Jesus and Middleton. Now it's Sydney's turn to try and build out from the back. Middleton. Here's Camijo. Jesus has gone for a bit of an overlap, but holds his post for the time being. Now it's with Williams. Tyler Williams, the centre back, goes forward and shot on Marquez, easily saved. And positive signs early for Sydney. Bailey Callahan with the turn and shoot. In that number 9 jersey, he's got Mitch Glasson alongside him on the right. 2 new inclusions for Sydney, as mentioned. Spirit. They can switch out the other side here if they want. Sydney have committed numbers to the right. Cornwall didn't like what he saw. Goes back inside, and that's the danger area that Sydney, this young midfield there, snapping at the ankles of Spirit as Luis Lobo had his shirt momentarily pulled, and pulled for too long, says tonight's referee, Ivica Kovic. As mentioned at the top of the broadcast, it's a very young Sydney FC side. Most of these players around 17, 18. A lot of the players that carried them to the top half of the table last season called into the A-League side. So a sign of progression, but it's made their campaign in the NPL just that little bit more difficult. Ball's allowed to bounce, and there's almost a mix-up at the back between DeJesus and Zavadinos. And Jesse Michel again is hunting for the scraps. Hasn't had much in the way of service just yet, but he's getting into dangerous areas and preying on a potential mistake by this young Sydney defence. Now Kalisic. Checking in short is Lockie Middleton. Spraying it out wide to Jesus. Camijo. This is good play by Sydney down the right. So trying to work the triangles, but immediately Spirit win it back. Commentators curse as Michelle drops it short, playing the target man role, but that attack breaks down. Much to the disappointment of the Spirit bench. David Perkovic not happy at all with how that attack went. Wave after wave, both sides having opportunities to go at each other. Here he is, Callahan. Scarcella and Middleton. Scarcella tried to receive it between the lines. Lobo got the call of man on and picks up the foul for his side. Callahan a bit too over-eager. And that's the experience of the futsal-roo, Louise Lobo. Experienced campaigner is Louise Lobo. Looks like he was imparting some wisdom onto young Will Kennedy. Delightful pass forward. Here is Ollie Wigan. Has the underlapping run, and they found it to the byline. It goes. Great save by Zavadinos. Not cleared away. And Jacob Chidiak lashed at it. But more positivity for the Spirit. That's probably the first time that either Zavadinos or Marquez have been called into meaningful action. And again, it's the wings, especially that left wing. We saw Connor Starbo have a bit of joy down there a few minutes ago. That time, it was Ollie Wigan. Let's see if they keep going down that side. The Spirit is well one. It goes back and forth. Chidiak tries a hopeful pass forward, and both sides playing at it. Sydney come out looking better. Scarcella checks back in. Quintal plays the 1-2 and gets it back. Tiago Quintal, he's dangerous. Still with Sydney Middleton, back to Quintal. They play it in between the spaces, and clutch defending at the back by the Spirit. Tiago Quintal, he's so dangerous. He's very highly rated. And that time, too many sky blue shirts for the Spirit to counter-attack. Both teams not really holding on to it for too long. Opting for quicker counter-attacks and trying to catch the other off guard before they set their defences. And just looking back at the stream, Tiago Quintal almost found something out of nothing, but the Spirit just threw bodies in his way. Let's be careful not to commit the foul either, as Glasson combines on the other side, trying to hold it up, as stays with Sydney for the time being. They'll get the throw. Games between these sides have been traditionally low scoring. They played out a 0-0 draw back in round one at Christie Park. Last season they split the two games. A win to Sydney at VSP. Mitch Glasson with the 91st minute winner on that day. And at Christie Park back in round 11 last season, Spirit got the 1-0 win. So there's not a lot in it between these two sides. Offside flag is up, and that puts an end to that Sydney attack. We spoke about what this win would mean for Spirit in terms of their ladder position, and currently 4 points behind Manly, so 3 points today wouldn't take them above them, but just keeps them out of the danger for a little bit. Still very tight. Spirit are only 4 points ahead of Sydney heading into this game, and that gap can quickly close as Wigan gives chase, and that pressure is enough on the back line to win his side a throw. As for Spirit, a win and results going their way would, or Sydney rather, win and other results going their way would see them jump above Sutherland into 14th. So temporarily out of that relegation playoff spot that Mount Druitt Town Rangers were in last year, that saw them lose over the two legs to St George, who are now in this competition. Looked clear by Sydney. The playoff featured a game at this ground in the first leg. There's Marquez again, looking for that left-hand side. They don't mind going down that way, as pass was a bit too hot to handle for Ollie Wigan. Glasson couldn't hold it up and hooked along by the Spirit. It'll be easy for Zavadinos to claim and a restart for his side. passing lanes are temporarily shut down. Kamijo has to drop deep and drop short as given away by the Spirit. Here's Nicholas. Given away to the Spirit, rather. Lovely pass. And left-hand side paying dividends right now. They'll shift it around the back. Cornwall looking for Chidiak into the corners, and no chances taken by Joseph Kalisic, much to the frustration of the backtracking Will Kennedy. He thought that he had a bit more time to pass and go with it. Glasson gets a vital touch to it. Thought he was fouled, stays with Spirit. The real theme of the game continues to be quick attacks that break down. So far, it's Spirit who've had the best chance of the game. It was a half chance at best. Here is Mitch Glasson, who doesn't need too many invitations to get forward. Picking it up again. Middleton. Kennedy lines up from range. Took a deflection on the way through, I think. Did it? No, it didn't. And so that attack comes to nothing for Sydney FC and Will Kennedy. No goals to his name, the captain and left back. Really establishing himself, one of these, as mentioned, younger players that have stepped up into the Sydney FC team this season. Just 6 first-grade appearances all of last year. Now he's up to 10. This will be his 11th. Dangerous pass intended for Glasson. Just half a step behind him. Marquez just takes a chance to roll things down as, again, Sydney FC, they're well set defensively. They know their pressing cues. They know the areas they want to win the ball back. It's only really been that long diagonal ball that Spirit have found success with. It hasn't been easy going through the middle of the park. As I say that, they cut right through it like a knife through butter as Connor Starbo finds it out the other side. Ollie Wigan and Zavadinos palmed it to the ground and claimed it, but that's more good play by Spirit down the wing. Ollie Wigan, that time getting the ball off Connor Starbo. Ollie Wigan looking to match his tally from last season. He's got 2 goals on the season. He had 1 more than that last year. Good play down the right by Sydney. Can't ride the challenge of Simon Nicholas. He's probably been the busier of the 2 fullbacks between him and Grant Cornwall on the right here. Both sides looking to attack the grandstand in front of the clubhouse, and that's a very frustrating end to the attack for Sydney. An offside, playing it back from the throw. And you have a feeling, given the low-scoring nature of these 2 sides this season, that first goal is really going to set the tempo of the rest of the game. As we've seen in the NPL this season, we do tend to have big, high-scoring games. Many occasions this season, both these sides have been on the unfortunate receiving end of some of them. Throw stays with Sydney as Quintal. Trying to combine with De Jesus. And Camijo as well. They couldn't dig it out of the corner, but they'll keep the throw. If Ikukovic not happy with where it's being taken, he marshals De Jesus back to the mark. And De Jesus is slowly inching back forward. He's very subtly doing that as that attack comes to nothing, and ambitious. I think that was from Connor Starbo. Had his head up and had ideas of a 50-metre bomb. It would have taken some effort to beat Zavadinos from that sort of range, but goals might need to come from unlikely sources for the Spirit. Top scorer for the season is just on 3 goals. a couple of players that are on that mark. As for Sydney, they have Tiago Quintal, who has 8 to his name. That's almost half of his team's goals this season. 17 goals as a team for Sydney FC in 2024, and just under 50% of them are from their number 10. That's how influential he's been as Camijo goes in strong and wins it back. Kennedy looking down the line. Scarcella. Here he is again. Will Kennedy. Camijo gets the call to turn, and they go out the other side. Kalisic. Here is Kennedy. And Contestavo had ideas of going forward. He was just a bit too far behind the pass, and he had to gamble as that pass goes in behind for Glasson. I think the flag might have been coming in any case, but again, you can see Spirit's intent is to try and wait for that crossfield pass that just goes a little bit loose. Contestavo there had read the pass, but positionally was just a little bit behind it as Luis Lobo's waiting in anticipation, and the pass comes to him. Ollie Wigan going from left to right as fancy feet there from the futsal Roo as backs it up with an even better pass out to Contestavo. And the commentator's curse strikes, and it's got too much heat on it. But again, for Spirit, they're showing positive signs of going on and winning this game. As are Sydney, it's been a very even first half. That 0-0, certainly a deserved scoreline. Both sides finding it difficult to create chances against well-set defences, and considering that they both found it a bit hard in front of goal, it's no surprise that it started this way. Contestavo flicks it around the corner and take their time. Kyle Shaw. Here is Cornwall, dropping it back into Jared McKinley. As a bit of a hairy moment there between Lobo and Cornwall, but they sort it out eventually. Finds Chidiac, and that's a great pass that almost came forward for Spirit, and now they have to worry on the other end. Scarcella looking for Glasson. Kyle Shaw marshalling that back line extremely well, had Glasson covered all the way. But for a brief glimpse there, Sydney FC had a look at a 4-on-4. As Contestavo shows great technique to shift the ball wide to Wigan, and he can attack the defence. Wigan goes towards the left. Chidiac is there to clean up the scraps, but Otaru Kamijo doing really well in midfield. Scarcella. And Kennedy. Middleton gets the cry to turn. Finds Kamijo. Scarcella just left the ball behind, and you can see the frustration was there in the youngster. Matthew Scarcella, one of the returning players that's been around the A-League squad a bit this season. And you fancy, it's only been a week since they were knocked out of the finals by the Mariners, so not too much rest for some of these players, even though they might not have been fully involved. It'll be interesting to see who comes back in to the side this season. We saw players like Hayden Matthews play a big role in this team last season. He's been a big part of Sydney's defence, and another one of the academy graduates, Jake Birdwood Reich, who's apparently off to the MLS for a big move that's going to break the Sydney FC outbound transfer record. It just goes to show the amount of talent that the Sydney FC Academy is producing. Don't be fooled by their ladder position, as they might have to be a bit careful here of Luis Lobo, and the underlap is coming from Grant Cornwall. Lobo drifts inside, tries the shot, takes a couple of deflections on the way through. Stays with Spirit for the time being. Back again with Lobo, flicks it up and tries the shot, and great save by Zavadinos. He would have seen it late, but the technique of Luis Lobo on full display there Lovely little flick from his right foot to keep it in the air. Immediately took the shot with his left and forced Zavadinos into a great save. The shot was certainly on target, bound for that bottom right corner. And now Spirit starting to find their groove a little bit. Just turning the screw in hopes of getting this first goal. And Vikakovic is going to have to do a bit of housekeeping here in the box as they're all crowding around Zavadinos. Luis Lobo, the man on the set piece. That in-swinging left-footed delivery will cause problems for young Zavadinos and the Sydney FC defence. Instead, he goes for the pass. Wigan tries to go on his right, and Wataru Kamiju had seen that move coming from a mile away, and that's good defending by the young midfielder. Former Wanderer, Wataru Kamiju, joined the Sydney FC side on a scholarship deal midway through last year. As tends to be the case between the academies, there's a bit of movement between them, as here is Scarcella. Gets the call of the overlap, goes himself instead, dropping it in for Quintal, but again, Sydney not fazed by conceding a chance just a moment ago. They're going down the other end, and it's been the first 25 minutes that's been characterised by the two teams trading little jabs at each other. I wouldn't say haymakers just yet, but Mitch Glasson is flagged for offside. We've spoken about the two teams' relative struggles in front of goal. Also defending, it's been certainly harder for Sydney than it has been for Spirit. Sydney rank bottom of the league in terms of goals conceded. That's 44 goals in their opening 15 games, so almost 3 a match, which is why Spirit will certainly back themselves to score. As dangerous throw, but they make it work nonetheless. As for Spirit, their defence has been about middle of the pack, 27 goals conceded, which is 9th. This game's got a bit of feeling about it. There's been a couple of chippy fouls and a bit of chirping out there as well. Just underlines the desire for both these teams to get 3 points, as Scarcella has a chance to go one-on-one and puts it right into the top corner. It came from out of nowhere for Sydney from a quick free kick, and Matt Scarcella found himself in behind and did the damage with the finish over Marquez. And it just seemed that Sydney were just passing the ball around the back so calmly, and from one quick pass out from the back, it came from Kalisic and a lovely little flick around the corner from Mitch Glasson. And then Matt Scarcella put it straight into the top corner to give Sydney FC the lead inside half an hour. And we spoke about jabs, we spoke about haymakers, and Sydney FC have drawn first blood. And in a rare moment for Spirit, and a rare moment for both sides where the defence has been caught napping, they've usually been quite attentive to start this game. And it just seemed that Spirit were expecting Sydney to keep moving it around the back and not go forward too quickly, and that's how quickly things can turn. Mitch Glasson, I'm not sure how much he got on the pass around the corner, but at the very least he made the decoy run to drag forward the Spirit defence. And then Matthew Scarcella had the composure to put his finish beyond any doubt past Chris Marquez. And so Sydney are in the lead in hope of ending this 6-game winless run. And that's Quintal who's gone down there. Sydney looking to make it a quick 1-2 combination, go up 2-0 here. Scored just 1 goal in each of their last 4 games, so looking to really put it on Spirit here. As Wataru Kamijo is over this one. In swinging right foot, in behind the Spirit defence. Kamijo goes for a bit of height on it, and it's well dealt with at the back. I think by Chidiac at the first time of asking. Kalisic, who was instrumental in the goal. Kennedy didn't know he had that much time, and Wataru Kamijo is battling away. There's shirts being grabbed left and right. Vikakovic letting the boys play as it's lovely skill from Scarcella. Stepping into midfield just calms things down, and Jesus pressing for Joey. One of many Joeys in this Sydney FC team. Even Tiago Quintal recently. Given away by the Spirit. See, the patience is certainly there from Sydney. They didn't get the rush forward as they tried to pick their spot. Callahan was asking for the ball. Will Kennedy couldn't deliver it to him, as instead it's McKinley just giving it back to Kyle Shaw. And so we're just under 15 minutes still to go in the first half. It's Sydney who have the lead. Certainly the underdogs, despite playing at home. Chance to go forward again. Scarcella combining. Glassard, flag has got up. You just see the intensity has risen a bit from Sydney FC. They've been really boosted by that goal. Second before half-time would certainly delight their coaching staff, Jimmy Van Weeren and Manly legend Matt Sim. Very familiar name to long-time fans of this competition. Ollie Wiggin dispossesses Kamijo, and I think Wataru Kamijo just got a bit of him as he went down, and didn't look like Ollie Wiggin was best pleased about it. Sure, the Spirit just want to stem the tide a little bit here, just maybe not necessarily go for the equaliser immediately, but just respect Sydney's momentum. Sydney have more than enough quality to do further damage. In comes the ball forward. Kyle Shaw goes up for it, but it's headed over. I think that was Kalisic who got the vital touch. They've looked relatively dangerous from set pieces. Again, we'll see if they pack it on Zavadinos. And once again, Vikakovic has to do a bit of cleaning up here. It's not the first time, it's just the second time in as many corners. They've only had 2 quarters the whole game, Spirit, and both times they've come down this end. Referee Kovic is now having a bit of a sterner talking to. Can't quite make out who's in the mix amongst all those bodies, but this corner looks like it's only heading one way. Although, that being said, they set up in a similar way last time out, and they went short to Ollie Wiggin from this exact same position. This time it's right on the spot, and it's headed off the post. Has that crossed the line? And it has. And Spirit get the equaliser. Somehow, some way, that found its way in. It went all to plan for the Spirit. They put the numbers on Zavadinos, and they won't care who got the final touch. Hard to make out who'll get credited with the goal. But for Spirit, all that matters is they got their first goal of the afternoon. And I think Jacob Chidiac got the first head on the ball. And players are appealing either way. Chidiac gets his head on it. It comes off the post. And then from there, it might have taken the touch off a Sydney player on its way through. But nevertheless, it's Spirit who have the goal. It's back at 1-1. And exactly what they would have wanted just before the half-time break. And it comes from a set piece. They use maybe a bit of extra size there, being the older bodies on the field. And a bit of extra experience to force that ball over the line. And if it is Jacob Chidiak's goal, it'll be his 4th of the season. Clearance isn't great, and that invited Callahan. Marquez couldn't keep it away for the corner. And we spoke about how these games historically have been low-scoring affairs. Well, we've broken past the previous mark of 1-0. We could be set for a really entertaining second half. We're still not done with the first half, mind you. And it goes to the box. Header is won initially by Sydney. Glasson again. He's been at the heart of everything Sydney are doing. I think that's Quintal on the far side, who just ran out of room and stays with Spirit. So we might just take another quick look at the goal. See if we can make out who, if anyone, got the final touch. It's definitely Chidiak who gets the first look at it. Then it goes onto the post, and I think it might have come off a Sydney player on the way through. Maybe caught off guard at close range by the deflection off the post. So that one might go down as an own goal. But there can be no doubt that they deserved it. Jacob Chidiak was free on the corner and was inches away from putting it in himself. Marquez lets it roll into his grateful arms. And invites maybe a bit of pressure as Callahan obliges. Goes long immediately, looking for Jesse Michelle, who, again, has been a bit quiet this evening. There he is, holding it up, doing well, combining with Contestavo. Luis Lobo, he's looked good as well. Chidiak. Lobo. Couple of shots on target for Luis Lobo. Gets it onto his left. Looks to combine, goes down, but I think he was making the most of that contact. Chidiak tries the fancy feed himself. Instead, finds safety in Jared Lum and Grant Cornwall at the back. It's been a very fast game here at the Illinden Sports Centre. Both sides, as mentioned, moving the ball quickly. Sure, delightful release pass forward, and that might stay in here for Jared McKinley. First time cross, doesn't get too much on it. Stays with Spirit. Cut back for Contestavo. And that was a golden opportunity for Spirit to take the lead for the first time in this game. Jared McKinley did the hard work to keep it in. Jesse Michelle did even better with the hold-up. Found Contestavo on the edge of the area. And he wasn't too far away from marking his return from injury with a goal. Perhaps didn't get the best clearance that, or contact rather, he would have wanted on that shot. That's a great opportunity for Spirit. And still 5 minutes or so remaining. I think we'll have a lengthy bit of stoppage time by first half standards because of that injury to Ante Buckmars that saw him go off just a couple minutes into this game, as Marquez, taking no chances, takes ball and all, including Grant Cornwall, I think. That comes to nothing for Sydney. It'll be a Spirit goal kick. That's a pinpoint pass, and it needed to be. There were Sydney players waiting if it was short. Michelle has a bit of his shirt taken with him. It stays with Spirit, but offside. Breaks that play down as Luis Lobo was motioning towards the back post. Our assistants for this evening, haven't shouted them out yet, is Blake Sanchez-Cruz and Isaac Riggs. Great turn in midfield by Scarcella, the goal scorer. aside from his goal, he's been orchestrating this midfield well. It's been a really intriguing battle between the two midfields. Here's one of them, Camijo. Given away, and now Sydney can break. Quintal passes just a little behind him from his Joey's teammate, Zach De Jesus. Looking for options. He goes for the long throw, brought down by Michelle, and they've spotted Luis Lobo in acres of space on this far side. This is the type of area he likes to operate. Quick little step overs from Lobo, gives them more than a couple. Chidiac is overlapping on the cutback. It's still with Luis Lobo. Spirit aren't done. He tries the chip, but not enough power on it to force Zavadinos into a meaningful save. But again, it's that diagonal pass, switching play from David Perkovic's side that's opening up attacking opportunities for the Spirit. We've seen it from right to left before towards Ollie Wigan. That time it was left to right to Luis Lobo. As Glasson lurking in the centre of the area. Could have put his head to ball. Quintal's pass is loose, and anywhere will do for the Spirit. Chance to reset their defence and invite Sydney to come forward and maybe spring a counter-attack of their own. Here is Kalisic. Wataru Camijo. Will Kennedy. Middleton, he's got the vision, and Zach De Jesus has just about enough pace, but kept it in with the first touch and couldn't get the second to stop it rolling over the line. Looks like Simon Nicholas isn't in a hurry to take this throw. We've seen him get a nice bit of distance on these throws out of trouble. That time he goes short to Lum and clears it into the stands in front of the clubhouse there. And a reminder, this is one of 3 games taking place at the Illington Sports Centre this weekend. All 3 of the teams that play at home at Illington are playing here this weekend. St. George FC also playing here. That's on Saturday at 7 p.m. And then you've got Rockdale Sunday 3 p.m. against St. George City. It's a ground that gets plenty of work. Can Sydney catch Spirit napping again? I don't think they will do from a bit closer towards goal. As Wataru Camijo goes wide and flicked back in towards Mitch Glasson. That was the intended target. It was Bailey Callahan who was lurking at the back post as up goes Kalisic. Got plenty of height on his leap, and a couple of Spirit players circling on this Sydney back line. As we tick into, or towards rather, additional time. Haven't got confirmation of how much will be added on just yet, but that'll be coming soon. As here is Mitch Glasson. Driving pass forward, and that could have gone anywhere. It's still here for Sydney. Middleton running onto it. Quintal tries at the second attempt, and certainly has to be a stoppage of play. It was really dangerous from Mitch Glasson, who you thought was going to shoot from that type of range, but instead he got it onto his left and darted a ball onto the penalty spot in hopes of anyone running onto it. And after a couple of deflections, it's forced us into another stoppage. Again, David Perkovic, he's already made 1 sub this afternoon. That was for Ante Bakmaz. who was forced off with an injury. Luis Lobo came on to replace him. And that forced a big reshuffle at the back, a defender off for a winger. And he might have to shuffle the pack again. I think it might be another defender that's gone down here. We'll get confirmation in just a moment of who it is, as we're now into the 46th minute of play here. I think it's Grant Cornwall that's rushed out. He had to rush out as well to stop the shot. It was Lockie Middleton who had ideas of shooting. And it's an awkward collision for the Spirit captain, who might be forced off here. Still might be going for a little longer. We've just been told we're having 8 minutes. Sorry, 8 minutes. Oh, sorry. No, I thought we were having 8 minutes of time added on. I've just been told it is number 8, Grant Cornwall. I wouldn't be surprised if we had close to that amount of time, given the stoppages we've had, as I still wait for the sign to go up from the fourth official. Looks like Grant Cornwall is going to be subbed off, so looks like a Spirit player is receiving potentially final instructions from David Perkovic. Thankfully, it looks like he's all right to continue. But we'll keep an eye on that change. That one might come at half time. Sure. Shows great control to head it down for Chidiac, as Jimmy Van Wieren is less than impressed with that build-up from his young side. Quintal is shoved in the back. Jimmy Van Wieren is marshalling and yelling at his young Sydney backline. I think just play it was what I heard come through. So maybe wanting his side to be a bit more decisive as they go forward. And it was that decisiveness that netted them their first goal. Through this man, Scarcella. Quintal couldn't make it work in the tight spaces as Camijo steps up forward, as Callahan rather. Reverse pass to Glasson, just away from his outstretched right foot. And you can see it's difficult for Sydney to really play through the middle. That's where they want to go. Use the quick feed and interplay of the likes of Quintal and Mitch Glasson. When they combine, they look very dangerous, but it's just very hard to make it work when Spirit is so well set defensively. And so we won't have 8 minutes of added time. We'll just have a couple. And that's taking us to the break here at the Illington Sports Centre. It's a goal apiece. A goal to Matthew Scarcella for Sydney. Gave them the opener. And then I think what will go down as an own goal from a corner is what has Spirit back at 1-0. It's been Will Constantinides along with you for the first half. We'll see you back soon for the second 45. Welcome back to the Elandon Sports Centre for the second half between Sydney FC and the Northwest Sydney Spirit. It's 1-1 as we head into the second stanza of play here. Very entertaining first half with goals each way, one which might go down as an own goal, which Jacob Chidiak headed onto the post before it was put in, I think, by a Sydney defender. And Sydney got one through Matt Scarcella a bit earlier. Ollie Wigan, who's looked lively down the wing, looking to put the shoulder on. Well defended by Sydney. Shaw steps in and wins the ball back. And just before the break, we saw Grant Cornwall go off with an injury. He looks like he's back out there again, so he hasn't been subbed at half-time like I thought might have happened. And so for now, both teams are as they were when they entered the sheds for the second half. Here's Bailey Callahan. Jags towards the right, puts in a great ball to the back post, headed away by Chidiak. Michelle has to do a bit of hold-up work, and Spirit able to switch out to the left side. Here's Wigan, and it was this left-hand side that they got plenty of joy down in the first half. A lot of crossfield switches to Ollie Wigan, which he was able to cross in towards the centre of the park. Passes just behind Simon Nicholas and forces his first touch back. That momentarily invites the Sydney press, but Marquez has the composure to find Ollie Wigan. He's kept the ball in for now and is unceremoniously brought down. I think Lockie Middleton might count himself a bit lucky that he hasn't escaped further sanction there. I think Grant Cornwall has suffered a bit of a knock here, and we said that he went down just a moment before half-time, and he will be substituted now. And so Kai Williams is heading on in place of Cornwall, who unfortunately won't see out the second half. And already we've barely had 46 minutes of play, and David Perkovich has been forced into 2 substitutions, and that's the key word, forced. A couple of injuries for the Spirit medical staff to worry about tomorrow. And if they do get the win, it will certainly come at a bit of a cost. As Callahan rides the challenge initially, it's still with Glasson. Ball is with Sydney. Mitch Glasson. Callahan getting to the byline, cutting it back and sliding through to block it with Simon Nicholas. Kyle Shaw did so as well, but it's Nicholas who gets the vital touch in what was a very dangerous counter-attacking move for the Spirit to defend against. And that time Sydney showing great counter-attacking play there. Chance from the corner. We saw them concede from one down this end. In it goes towards the 6-yard area, and it's cries of handball for Sydney FC. They're being shaken away by Avika Kovic. Mitch Glasson was amongst those in loudest protests, but Avika Kovic was adamant. Good signs to start the half for Sydney FC. Middleton combining, breaks down again for Sydney. But Camijo does really well to crane his neck back and keep possession in the hands of Sydney FC. Zavadinos. Down the line they go against a Callahan. It was a similar pass that they unlocked just a moment ago. This time it's a first time cross, and he's done well to find Mitch Glasson. Goes back in midfield, and it's all with Sydney. Kennedy. Glasson wins the foul. This is a dangerous position for Sydney. It's the type of area you love to swing across in from. Perhaps an in-swinging left-footed delivery to really test the Spirit defence, who conceded after being caught napping on a deep set piece. A bit further back than this one. A couple of interested parties on this one. It's Camijo is one of them. And there is the in-swinging left footer, but it's just a bit too far in front of Bailey Callahan. He peeled off the shoulders of the Spirit defence. Tiago Quintal, the man who delivered it to him. And as mentioned, he's been at the centre of everything that's gone well for Sydney FC this season, and his 8 goals out of their 17 have kept them in the fight in a lot of these games, and it's been 10 games in total without a win for Sydney. They're looking good, and they look like they've got a real chance at getting one this evening. A couple of diagonal switches, and it comes out here to Ollie Wiggin. Just got away from him momentarily, and now Sydney can spring a counter of their own, but it's easily worked forward again by Kyle Shaw, using all of his height to get his head onto that one. Another crossfield switch. It's back here for Wiggin. Ball just floated up for him and forces him back for the time being, and just too many sky blue shirts in the way. He's dispossessed too easily. To Jesus. And down the line, Bailey Callahan. Now he's gotten his foot onto the ball. Has Glasson in the box. Still with Sydney and Bailey Callahan. Again, he goes to the byline. Again, he crosses to the back post, but Mitch Glasson had already made his run and towards the front post instead. But again, it's Sydney FC who continue to build real pressure on this Spirit goal in hopes of not only ending their 6-game loss streak, but also their winless drought. Middleton. Camijo. Will Kennedy. Kalisic. Pass was misdirected from Tyler Williams. Oh, lovely nutmeg. And now take 2 for Ollie Wiggin. He had everyone on the Spirit bench and even us up here in the commentary box nice and excited about the double nutmeg from Ollie Wiggin. But he couldn't keep possession. Now his side might have to worry about defending instead. Callahan. Again, a dangerous ball forward. And Lobo doesn't have much in the way of support and has to cough up possession to Will Kennedy. It's a very entertaining Friday night game here at the Illington Sports Centre. Certainly look destined for second goal for either of these two sides and maybe more. Quintal on the edge of the area. Beats 1, beats 2. Thought he was fouled. Kovic disagreed. Zach DeJesus, he could whip in a dangerous ball. Instead he takes on his defender. And Ollie Wiggin got a second bite of the cherry. And Jimmy Van Weeren's appealing with the 4th official, feeling that he was brought down. DeJesus. Now it's Sydney's turn to add a bit of pressure. First half that was characterised mostly by them absorbing pressure has now seen them in the opposing position. Tyler Williams sends it high and sends it long. And Kyle Shaw has the height advantage over Callahan, and there was Mitch Glasson hoping for the ball to bounce his way, but Marquez was always going to clean that one up for Spirit. Looks set for a very intriguing second half here at the Illington Sports Centre as Callahan again looks to get around the shoulder of the Spirit defence, and he has Glasson in the box, and well, he's not quite got the direction or the power on that cross, but the positive signs are certainly there. And it's a familiar path to goal for Sydney FC. It's a long switch down the line for Bailey Callahan to use his pace and get around the Sydney defence. And then from there, it's up to him to try and find Mitch Glasson. I think they'll get a couple more opportunities at trying to make that play work. For now, the score remains at 1-1. De Jesus. Sydney's pressure continues. And you got a bit of the shirt of kind of Starbo there. Vikakovic says it's with Spirit still. They'll take the throw. David Perkovic is pleading with the fourth official that he wants the foul. Simon Nicholas looking for Jesse Michelle. Had Tyler Williams all over his back, and the size advantage of Jesse Michelle paying the free kick there, forcing his defender into the foul. And Simon Nicholas has spotted Chidiac all the way out on the far side. Great turn in midfield by Jared McKinley. It's that kind of composure that Spirit are going to need. The momentum is all with Sydney right now. Zach De Jesus has come off second best after a tackle with Jesse Michelle. I think he might have been body checked a little bit there as they were both going for that 50-50. And Zach De Jesus is not right at all. We'll stay with the attack for now. Here's Callahan, who's gone all the way out to the left. Glasson and Kennedy, and Jesus just in front of us is really hobbling on his feet. And Taro Kamiju just a bit too aggressive, and Zach De Jesus is now down on his back. And yeah, it was from that challenge with Jesse Michelle. Again, maybe a bit of knee-on-knee contact here. Physio trying to get to work on the Joey's right back. Zach De Jesus, who has got plenty of raps on him. He's been featured a little bit with the Sydney FC A-League team this season. Signed to a 3-year scholarship deal with the club. Certainly plenty of faith and plenty of ability. We'll see if he's still right to continue. I think he's going to go back on. And we saw Spirit play with 10 men for a good couple of minutes in that first half. Now it's Sydney's turn to do the same, and they'll have to defend this free kick, which Marquez has launched onto their box. Ball just got away from Luis Lobo, but he has enough pace to keep it in play. There's one inside the throw. Just in front of us in the near touchline towards the left-hand side. Camijo goes up with it. Simon Nicholas has it on his left foot. Takes a deflection, and that will be a Spirit corner. And we saw them score for a corner. It was scrambled along on the goal line. Perhaps into Sydney's own net, but we'll see if they once again surround Alexander Zavadinos and hope that it goes the same again. The young keeper will have his hands full, and you can see all the bodies that are surrounding him in that 6-yard area. As the cross comes in. Again, it's towards the back post and just over the head of a couple of Spirit players. Sydney cleared their lines for now. McKinley puts it back into the mix. Chidiac is dragged down, and it's a wonderful strike for Spirit. And Kyle Shaw has pulled that out of the hat. What a goal that is from the centre back. On the half volley, straight into the top corner. And he adds his 4th goal of the season, and he adds it in spectacular fashion. And that time it's the second phase of play from the corner. Sydney did well to clear their lines. They dealt with the danger which was crowding around the keeper. But I'm not sure they would have expected that from Kyle Shaw. That is some goal from the centre back. And his last league goal was some time ago. It was 11 games ago against St. George City back in round 5. He got one in the Australia Cup prelims as well against Albion Park White Eagles, but I'm not sure he would have scored too many as good as that. And that will certainly be watched a lot by the Spirit defender. And he'd be well within his rights to do so. We spoke about what a great second half it's been, what a great opening it's been for Sydney FC, piling pressure on Marquez, getting a couple of chances down this right wing with Bailey Callahan, but again, not taking their chances. They paid the ultimate price. And Zavadidos could only hope that it sailed over the bar from Kyle Shaw, but he struck it with such power and such venom. It was only going for the top corner. And Spirit, who found themselves trailing in to start this game, now go up 2-1. To Jesus. Now a double sub is coming for Jimmy Van Wieren. It'll be Pearson Kasawaya, who started the last game. He'll be coming on with Oscar Fryer, Zach De Jesus, and Bailey Callahan, who have both worked hard. And so Kasawaya, who earned his first ever first grade start last week against Olympic. Was on the bench a couple times before that. It's just his 3rd appearance in the first grade squad for Sydney. Now has a chance to try and make an impact alongside Oscar Fryer, who's scored a couple of goals in both the 20s and in first grade. He has 8 goals to his name in all competitions. Here is the substitute, Kasawaya. Immediately has his head up looking for Glasson. That's a dangerous knockdown there by Kalisic. Connor Starbo again was looking for the chip over the keeper. He tried it in the first half, and that one just there was just as successful. Will Kennedy's come across this right-hand side. Kasawaya has gone over to the left, so a bit of a swap around the back as Glasson shanks it wide of the goal. Spirit, who found themselves trailing after 30 minutes in this game, now find themselves up a goal, and it's great resilience shown by David Perkovic's side, looking to make it 2 wins in 3 games after losing last week to Apia. Spirit will be in no hurry to launch the ball forward, just we want to avoid these turnovers in midfield, as that's not quite the pass they would have wanted, as up goes Kyle Shaw. Lum is dispossessed. That is ball taken away from him. Sydney players were on his back as Fryer. Great first touch and has the substitute Kasawaya, his fellow substitute, alongside him on the overlap. And that's where he chooses to go. No nonsense challenge there from Jacob Chidiak. And so Spirit just 25 minutes away from what will be their first away win of the season in the league. Valuable 3 points as well, the type of 3 points that can really kickstart the back end of their season, see them really start to climb through those mid-table positions. Lobo has plenty of blue shirts around him, and Tiago Quintal has won it back, and he could dribble forward. Quintal! And it was always rising over the goal of Marquez. Important to remember for Sydney, they're still well and truly in this game. Small 1-goal lead for Spirit, and Sydney do have their chances. They did have a couple in the first 10-15 minutes of this half. Nicholas sends it forward for Lobo. Glasson might be interested in this one. He's kept it in for the time being, but the second touch just got away from him. That's another great switch, and Marquez has been on point with his distribution tonight. A lot of those crossfield switches out from the back can invite Sydney players forward, but every time he's looked towards the wing, he's more often than not found his man. Wigan thought he was dragged down, but possession stays with Spirit as Williams had ideas of looking for Jacob Chidiak, and that might just roll away for a goal kick. Spirit might have been hoping for a throw in there, but stays with them now. And so with that goal to Kyle Shaw, means Spirit's last 7 goals, including the own goal they've had tonight, have come from different scorers every time. So 7 different scorers for their last 7 goals. Lobo taking his chances at the back. Equally taking his chances with Simon Nicholas. Gives it up to Quintal and had a fistful of his shirt. And Ivica Kovic will whistle for Sydney FC there, and rightly so. And he just tells Luis Lobo, who was complaining about the foul, he said, well, you've played yourself into trouble there. And I can't say I disagree with the referee. I think Luis Lobo was inviting the press. And substitution comes. I think it's Lockie Middleton who's made way. Coming on is number 29, Joe Lacey, another player that's highly rated by the Sydney Academy, as Camijo goes into the box and has plenty of swerve and dip on it as it now falls out to Scarcella. Now, Spirit can build a counter-attack of their own here. McKinley has the ball and he's going forward. Didn't have much to go with him. And now Sydney will build out from the back, and you think, given the way this game is trending with about 20 minutes to go, the tendency for Spirit might be to sit back and defend their lead, and they might have to do that here as Glasson driving forward, puts the shot on. Flashes wide of Marquez's goal, but again, it's another attempt for Sydney FC, and it's more warning signs for the Spirit defence as we tick into the final 20 minutes of this game here at the Illington Sports Centre. You get the feeling there'll be a handful of chances for Sydney to try and make use of here as they chase down this 1-goal lead and get an important draw at home. Potentially deny Spirit their first away win of the season. Quintal, this time he goes the aerial route. Fryer was sniffing around for it, as is Mitch Glasson. Winds up with his left, decides against it. Beautiful pass for Fryer. Cutting it back, and it's just over. And somehow that has not gone in for Sydney FC. And it's a superb clearance off the line. It was a dangerous ball across the box intended for Oscar Fryer, who was sliding in on goal, hoping that a toe would get the ball into the back of the net, but there were a couple of Spirit players back there to defend against it. Near post. Cries of handball, but they were quickly waved away by Ivica Kovic. I think it was Simon Nicholas on the goal line who had his hands by his side. And again, that's a couple of chances in quick succession now for Sydney FC. We saw one for Glasson just a moment ago. That time it was Joe Lacey who was crossing for Oscar Fryer. And Sydney can count themselves extremely unlucky that Fryer's shot hadn't found the back of the net from that Lacey cross. And Tyler Williams just sees it out of trouble. Says safety first and puts it over the goal line, but this game is swinging back and forth right now. And just when Sydney FC thought that Oscar Fryer had cooked up the equaliser, they now have to do a bit of defending on their own end and be wary that Spirit can score a third here. Lobo tries to play in tight spaces, and Kennedy can come out the other end, and he spotted Joe Lacey. Lacey thought he was fouled. Sure, whose goal is the difference right now. Spirit will certainly need him at the back, as they've needed him from the front tonight. They're going to defend this lead. Nicholas was well positioned to intercept. It's a very fast and frantic final 20 minutes that we have in store for you here on the Football New South Wales YouTube channel. Marquez, again, another one of these cross-field switches. This time it's short to Michelle. He's asked to go up again, and Will Kennedy had two hands in the back of Jesse Michelle, and Ivica Kovic was always going to use his whistle there. I think Ivica Kovic has just had a preliminary word here to Simon Nicholas and Chris Marquez about not taking too long on these free kicks, as Marquez floats it into the area. Second ball is out there for Ollie Wigan, has Joe Lacey behind him. Once again, Spirit happy to take a little bit of time off the clock here. Also take a bit of momentum out of Sydney. Connor Starbo. Over the line for a goal kick. Missing me also, not to mention, perhaps this late into the game, that this is a local derby of sorts. Spirit playing out of Christie Park, Sydney FC's training base, Sky Park, across the road as well, near Macquarie University. And they're playing almost on the other side of Sydney at the Illington Sports Centre. Fryer digs it out, intended for Lacey. Spirit, crowd numbers in midfield. Michelle has a chance to go forward, only has Williams with him. Michelle! Good save by Zavadinos. And he had to get down quickly as well. Tyler Williams got the slightest of touches on it to take a bit of power out of the shot, but it momentarily deflected it, which caused Zavadinos to readjust and make an important save to keep his side at 2-1 down. You'd think a third goal in the final 15 minutes of this game would seal the 3 points for Spirit. Jared Lum to deliver. And it goes. Kyle Shaw is there. Comes back out for Connor Starbo. And that was goal bound from the Spirit number 10. And Simon Nicholas is going to be the first man into the book. You can have no complaints about that one. A professional foul. Looking to stop the Sydney counter-attack. Looks like David Perkovic is going to go to the bench for the third and fourth time tonight. Has a couple of Spirit players warming up in front of us. Hopes of injecting some fresh legs into this game. As Connor Starbo goes in strong. All ball, says the referee. Here is Oscar Fryer. Has Quintal alongside him. Looking to give it back to Fryer. Marquez is rushing out. And it's just over the crossbar again for Sydney FC. And once again, they're rewarded with a corner. But more positivity for the hosts. Looks like Jacob Brissett and Jack Middleton are coming on in place of Joseph Kalisic and Wataru Kamijo, who's having to limp off the field. It's been a combative evening in midfield for the Sydney defensive midfielder. It's been hard going out there. And now his side have an attacking corner. Played away at the front post by Nicholas. Winding up was Tyler Williams. Brissett. Some fresh legs on. Trying to inspire his team. Williams. Drifts inwards. Lovely pass intended for Kasawaya, and it got a vital touch on the way through. Had Simon Nicholas not gone to ground and got even the slightest toe on that ball, diverting it towards Marquez, Kasawaya would have been one-on-one with a chance to make it 2-2. It's certainly all hands to the pump right now for this Spirit defence. And Noah Peacock looks like he'll be the new introduction for David Perkovic. It might be part of the double sub we spoke about just a moment ago as Luis Lobo sends it back towards Zavadinos. Noah Peacock, who has plenty of goals in the 20s this year, has got 12 goals in 14 appearances prior to this weekend. He might have picked up a couple in the 20s game just before this, which Spirit won 6-0 against Sydney FC. He'll join Richie Darko off the bench, both attacking-minded substitutions. So David Perkovic not content with sitting back and just defending what they have. He's throwing in some fresh legs in the final third to maybe go and get this third goal that would certainly seal the 3 points. As Connor Starbo comes off and gets the applause at the bench. It's his second start coming back from an ACL injury. And he's certainly looking very good as Jesse Michelle comes off as well. So a couple of like-for-like changes there. I'll send Noah Peacock straight up top as the lone 9. Richie Darko playing just behind him. Fryer. Darko took it away from him. Kennedy with intent to go forward. And his progress halted. Lacey passes loose from him, and Spirit can go forward. They have the numbers momentarily, but they decide to play safe instead and go back all the way to Chris Marquez. Nicholas going down the line. Darko is giving chase. will force Tyler Williams to make a play at the ball, and Darko has done really well to win this back. Has gone down, and that's good work by the substitute. And so Richie Darko, who has goals to his name this season. 9 starts, 2 goals for Spirit number 7. Jared Lum, who's getting ready to take this free kick, was just telling his defence to be wary. As in it goes. It's a good ball as well. Kyle Shaw, I think, is there. And it was Kyle Shaw, who already has a goal to his name this evening. One with a rocket from his right foot. That time he was trying to go with his head. Now into the final 10 minutes here. The Olympic Sports Centre. Darko with an important header and wins another foul, and this will be a chance for Spirit to march up the field and continue to take time off the clock, much to the frustration of the host Sydney FC. Jared Lum once again in no hurry to take this free kick. To the back post it goes. Kasawaya is there. Fryer has numbers coming forward, and that's just a little too far away from Thiago Quintal. Far too close to Simon Nicholas. Marquez is putting Lum under a lot of pressure with the power of that pass. And both sets of players were appealing for the throw, and little did they know it's still in play. Bit of aerial tennis as both teams send it forward and back. Noah Peacock is being told to get on his bike, and he's won it back, and sends it well over the sideline. Quintal, slicing ball, it'll fall nicely for Fryer here. That's a great pass by the Sydney number 10, who's got it back at his feet, Quintal. Getting it onto his favoured left foot, driving inside, and well defended by Simon Nicholas, who's had a fantastic game at the back. And Noah Peacock now. Chance to stretch his legs and get forward. Has Darko in the middle. Richie Darko. Getting to the box, tries to cut it back, and has won his side a corner. And this is exactly how Spirit would want this final stage of the game to play out. Possession down the other end of the pitch. Set pieces to take the sting out of the game as well. As you can see, Jared Lum, who's coming across to take it, is not going to be rushed, let's say that. Not as many numbers around Zavadinos. There's just 3 or 4 Spirit players near him. Still enough to cause a bit of a crowd. Lum to deliver. And it comes towards the back post. Chidiak is there. It's gone all the way out past everyone towards Luis Lobo, who's dispossessed. And Sydney race away down the other end in hopes of building a great counter-attack. Lacey, his pass, or touch rather, was loose, and Ivica Kovic is going to book the substitute here. That is a very, very dangerous challenge by Joe Lacey. You can see Sydney FC, the intent is certainly there to get forward, but a bit too eager there. Spirit are a bit disappointed about the colour of the card there. They felt that Joe Lacey's studs were showing and that the tackle was a little bit high and late. Kai Williams has his foot over this one. Slices it forward for Darko, who's found his way into the box unmarked. It's another important touch. Lacey has to be careful there. Wasn't whistled for the foul, but any later certainly would have been. He's already on a yellow just a moment ago. As that time Kennedy goes down. And Jared McKinley is protesting his innocence. There's just over 5 minutes remaining of regulation time. We'll have a decent amount of stoppage left to play. A couple of substitutes, a couple of injuries as well. No goals in this second half. Counted out of either team getting one late here. Still, it's the Spirit who hold on to their 2-goal lead. There was a goal in the second half, sorry. It was Kyle Shaw's volley. Zavadinos waits for the ball to bounce back into his control. Tyler Williams. Scarcella, who opening goal of the game seems like an age ago now. Found himself one-on-one after Spirit fell asleep at the back. Quintal, dispossessed. Luis Lobo takes it over the sideline. Darko. Luis Lobo. Spotted. Wigan going forward as Noah Peacock is brought down here. And he felt that he was going the wrong goal, but I think he was a bit far away, and I think there were too many other Sydney players alongside Jack Middleton for... As David Perkovic is protesting with the fourth official, all in good nature. He's got a smile on his face about it as his team is still in the lead. That's a couple of yellow cards now for Sydney FC as they enter the final few minutes of this one as Darko floated it in. Again, it's Spirit who pin Sydney FC deep inside their own half. No, Peacock is offside, but he knows that. Leaves it for Ollie Wigan, who's brought down by Kasawaya. And this is just outside the area. Prime real estate for a free kick here. And Kasawaya is also going to be booked, so that's a couple of yellow cards in quick succession for Sydney FC. This game feels like, as time ticks on, it's getting out of their reach. And this free kick is going to be attracting plenty of interested parties. Ollie Wigan, Richie Darko among them. I think Ollie Wigan's the man that's going to take it. Noah Peacock is hanging around as well. So it'll either be the right foot of Wigan or the left foot of Peacock. Goal that would certainly seal their first away win of the season. Zavadinos has his wall set and it needs to be perfect from this type of range. Wigan goes over the wall, and that's the goal that'll seal it for Spirit. The perfect free kick for Ollie Wigan for his third goal of the season. And Spirit will be taking all 3 points back to the Northwest to get their first away win of the season. And they seal it with style. A lovely free kick from Ollie Wigan. Didn't have much room to work with to be able to get it over the wall and keep it down from that sort of range. But he's done extremely well with his right foot. Got enough swerve and dip on it, and Zavadinos couldn't keep it out. And you have to say, given the pressure that Spirit have been applying in these last 10-15 minutes, it's a goal that they've deserved. They haven't sat back and defended their 1-goal lead. They've brought on attacking subs. Here's one of them, Richie Darko, trying to get in behind. They've gone after this Sydney FC team and they've caught them out. Sydney trying to get one back quickly. Lacey cuts inside, loses his feet momentarily. Here is Quintal, quick feet in the box, but couldn't get it far enough away so that he could shoot. Sydney look like they're being doomed to their 7th loss in a row. And now be 11 games without a win, rooting them to second bottom of the ladder. Peacock flicks it forward. Here is Scarcella. And so we'll have 4 minutes of time added on. Peacock, it's a straight 3-on-3. He goes for range. But that wasn't over Zavadinos. And wouldn't that have been a spectacular way to get his first grade goal for Spirit? Richie Darko using those fresh legs and pressing ability to stop Sydney FC from getting forward. There's a handball on Richie Darko. Jack Middleton. Any goal now would probably be a consolation for Sydney unless they can force a miraculous comeback with only 3 minutes or so remaining. Here is Lacey. Getting to the byline, goes down, and Ivica Kovic just shakes his head and says that'll be a goal kick. And looking back on this game for Sydney FC, there were chances for them to make this 2-2. Especially before Kyle Shaw scored that miraculous second goal for Spirit. They had a couple of cutbacks between Mitch Glasson and Bailey Callahan, and then when Fryer and Lacey came on, they almost combined, which saw what Fryer thought had a tap-in into an empty net, deflected over the bar by a couple of sliding Spirit defenders. Stays with Sydney. Quintal is in a hurry. He gives it back to his captain. Kennedy, dangerous switch of play, and it's picked up by Wigan. Luis Lobo stays with Spirit, and they'll enjoy that. For these two teams, they've both got games around them on the table. For Sydney FC, they have Manly away next week, who sit a few places above them in 11th. As for Spirit, they've got an important game against Sutherland at home next week. Mind tomorrow's action kicks off at 5 p.m. with Apia and Blacktown City. What a game that'll be. An all top 4 clash. A couple of 7 p.m. games after that as well, and then a trio of Sunday 3 p.m. kickoffs. For now, though, Spirit looks set to claim their first league away win of the season, and it's certainly a deserved win. Sydney FC have had their moments in this game, but over the balance of the 90, Spirit have taken their chances when they've counted. They forced Sydney into a defensive error for the first goal, an own goal off a corner. It was certainly a deliberate strategy to crowd numbers around Zavadinos, force the defence into an error. And the second goal, they'll certainly enjoy a half volley into the top corner from their centre-back Kyle Shaw. And Noah Peacock with a chance to get his first grade goal. Peacock, well saved by Zavadinos. And that wait for the goal in first grade continues for the young Spirit striker, who has a dozen in the 20s. He had a good look at that one-on-one with the keeper, but Zavadinos read that he was going to the far side. And that'll be full time from the Illidan Sports Centre. It's Spirit who get the important away win. They'll take the 3 points to go with their 3 goals. And what will go down as an own goal in the first half, along with one to Kyle Shaw, and the one that sealed it from the free kick from Ollie Wigan was the third. Sydney opened the scoring through Matthew Scarcella, but from there Spirit clicked into gear and walk out deserved winners here this afternoon. It's been Will Constantinides on commentary for you. We'll see you back tomorrow for another round of games right here on the Football New South Wales YouTube channel.